guys, today we're going to do a part two of a few scary stories, a few short scary stories. So, the first one we're going to do today is Kids in the Dark. Growing up in the deep south meant sharing a lot with my little brother, Ollie. Most often, we would pass toys, clothes, and skin conditions between us. Up until he was 6, we even shared a bed. Neither of us were happy about it. It was my 10th birthday when that changed. I got one present that year, and it was a bed of my own. Ollie was jealous right away, and I could understand why. He had to sleep that he had to keep that half broken down frame with the worn out mattress. The one all gotten wasn't much better, but not being broken and worn was enough. Sleeping apart was a great feeling. It was freedom. No longer would I have to suffer the sudden and inexplicable kicks to the stomach. No longer would I wake up with Ollie's foot pressed into my neck like he'd stepped on Dracula the night before. At least that's what I thought. Right away, after I got the new bed, the shriek started. At first I thought Ollie woke up in the middle of the night and screamed because he's gotten scared. Then the sound echoed through the tiny room again, and I knew it wasn't a normal cry. The room was always black as pitch after sunset. The one window we had was pressed against a long-leaf pine, and even the brightest moon cast no light inside. The shriek just about drove me crazy. Every night, probably at the exact time, these sharp yelps would knock me right out of my dreams. It wasn't my mom or dad yelling, either. I knew what that sounded like. Believe me. Most worrying of all was the fact that I could never tell what it was coming from. It seemed completely random. One night, I'll come from somewhere near. It'll come from somewhere near the closet. The next, I'll shoot down from a corner of the ceiling. Any hope I'd have of having my own space would get dashed every time as Ollie would silently slip into the bed with me, shaking like crazy. He clasped onto me and wouldn't let go until it was almost daybreak. Most times I'll take his hand and tell him everything was going to be okay, that it'll be over by morning, but I was never really sure. Over time, the shriek started changing. At first it was only by small degrees, but eventually it took on the primal hooting sound of a primate calling out its fierce warning. I had to clasp pillows to my ears just to keep from going deaf. Mom and Dad never believed me or Ollie, basically because the thing, whatever it was, refused to make a peep when they were in the room. Apparently, they couldn't even hear it when it through the walls, even though it was damned sure long enough. The shriek just got worse and worse until I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. Me and Ollie were doing really bad in school, and we just had no energy at all. I could sleep more deeply with my head propped up and eyes open in the middle of class than in my own room at night. Then, thankfully, we moved out of the house nearly a year later. I had contemplated all sorts of things, even a child's clumsy concept of suicide, to get away from the horrific nightly noise. There was no problem at the next house. It was a nice, white, cookie-cutter home on a dead-end street, and I welcomed the normalcy. What's more, when we moved in, there was a bunk bed waiting for me and Ollie. No more broken bed, no more second bed I ended up having to share anyway. The only problem was deciding who'd get the top bunk. I told Ollie I deserved it. After all, I'd gotten a new bed way back, and he ruined it by climbing in every night. What? He shook his head. I never did that. I'd always wondered why the noise stopped the second I was sharing my bed. Now I have the answer. Well, 5. The on-Neo page. In the late 40s of the last century, after a decade of private research involving experiments with the variable beat brainwave frequencies, extrasensory coordinating, and rare extracts of a South American vine. Dr. Thomas Reisner perfected a technique whereby only one could actually intrude into the fridge and see others' thoughts. Despite having extensively documented his rigorous work, he could have no institution that would even offer to review it. Forced to sell his invention, he found by word of mouth among those through whom he procured now narcotics, a prospective buyer, the veterinary of an old New York family, Mr. John M. Dunn, a voyeuristic connoisseur of the supernatural and the obscene, who was squandered his idle youth in the great libraries of Paris. Those catacombs of departed authors, rummaging among the hoards of dusty and obsolete works. A literary gaul who disturbed with profane fingers charnel houses of decayed philosophies. He readily agreed to the doctor's asking price without haggling, delighted at the prospect of exploring such a bizarre novelty. Sorry guys, I can only read these words. One adept at the operation of the apparatus dined paying Mr. Dr. Arsenault off, and under an amused name went to the shabby house within view of Sing Sing prison. In the timeless night, while the convicts fitfully slept, with the aid of a set of stolen blueprints and his new mind-reading device, he raided their memories cell by cell at liberty to save the forbidden thrill of thefts, molestations, moonlit homicides, in secret, without remorse or consequence. Within a month, the prisoners, telling each other about the nightmares from which they had all begun abruptly to awaken, discovered they shared striking similarities. First, processions of alligators and tortoises filled through a swamp crowded with faceless people and shrieking orchids. Next, a shadow man, at whom they looked directly but could never quite see, which watched them in utter stillness from an empty house while invisible hands, probably behind their backs as they had to stand naked, legs locked in place, unable to run away. The compared descriptions of the house were identical, including its location just outside the walls. By mutual agreement, it was planned that the first of them to receive peril or be released would search this house out to find if it really existed and investigate the source of the troubling dreams. Sorry. A few days after being freed, the chosen spy was able to inform them with a smuggling message in code that not only was the house real, but he had broken into it at night and found a gaunt, mustached man in a silk smoking jacket, seated bolt upright, head thrust back, both eyes gasping, mouth stuck open in a stiffened gasp, clenched hands gripping the arms of his chair. In front of a scientific machine, a handwritten journal on the desk told the whole story of his adventures, pouring unconstrained. I'm sorry if it doesn't read all of it. Through the physics, plundering the haunted memories of criminal after criminal, seeking ever more shameful and arduous experiences, until finally he wrote, On July 7th, of his overwhelming desire to witness telepathically, the next